Good morning, Yonkers. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. It's the morning news break.
Freddie wins. Freddie.
Good morning, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. It's the morning news break. Happy Hump Day. And we are discovering some more corruption. More jobs for favors. Good morning, folks. Happy Wednesday. Today's January 25th. Wow, I can't believe the first month of 2023 is almost over. Time is sped up, actually, by 6 seconds, and that's a fact due to several earthquakes we've had in recent years. Anyway, folks, today I want to talk about more corruption, more favors, and jobs for favors, I should say. You do something for us, specifically when it comes to politics, help us out, and we'll get you a job with the city, right? And we've seen this, right? We've seen many employees come out to the term limit meetings in support of extending the term limits. And basically they were supporting Mike Spano because many of them said his name flat out. And an individual that also recently got a job with the city of Yonkers is someone that I had spoken about probably back in 2021, right? And maybe at the beginning of 2022. And that's a gentleman by the name of Augustine Morales. Who is Augustine Morales? Mysterious Augustine Morales, who I've actually been trying to locate. I stopped, but now I know where to find him. He's now working at DPW. Augustine Morales is a former employee of John Rubbo. Augustine Morales came on my radar when I was, going over the John Rubbo re-election campaign. He was running against Carlos Burgos in the primaries, almost lost that race, actually. But before, it even started, it almost never started, I should say, before they even got there. Because, as I mentioned before, they challenged Carlos Burgos' petitions. That's one of the tactics that they use to try to get people from going on the ballot and opposing them, right, and running against them in the race, right? So they try to knock them out before the race even begins. So they use people. They use a lot of different people, many names that we've heard I believe even Janai Wallace was an individual who challenged petitions once. Robert Voorhees, the husband of Michael Sabatino, once challenged the petitions of Tasha Diaz. And now a gentleman, Augustine Morales, challenged the petitions of Carlos Burgos and the other gentleman, Abdul. I don't say your last name, I'm sorry. But both gentlemen were, wanting to take out John Rubbo for the 4th district. But before the race even began, their petitions were challenged. And it was challenged by a gentleman named Augustine Morales. And it was a very strange thing right off, the bat, for me anyway. The guy hired Harris Beach. So right there, a red flag went off. And if you've been following the podcast, then you would know who Harris Beach is. Harris Beach is the prestigious law firm that has contracts with the city, that has also represented Mike Spano, John Rubbo, and is currently representing Mike Spano, I believe, in his lawsuit, or in the lawsuit that Mike Cater filed. Harris Beach also represents Empire Strategic Planning, the Nick Spano lobbying firm, and I've shown that on my podcast. I've shown the contact information there for Harris Beach. So they're very connected, this law firm, to the administration, to Mike Spano, Nick Spano, and John Rubbo as well. And they're expensive, right? So not anyone is just going to go and hire Harris Beach. So how did Augustine Morales, a former employee of John Rubbo's over at the Yonkers Brewing Company and a freelance masseuse, from what it says on his Facebook page, hire Harris Beach not once, but twice to challenge petitions? I mean, did this guy really just feel that passionate about it and decided to spend his, possibly savings, life savings? I mean, a freelance masseuse, can't imagine you know, that they're generating so much income that they would want to spend that to challenge some petitions and some political race in the city of Yonkers. Harris Beach, again, is a very prestigious law firm. They've been around for a long time, and they're used by Mike Spano himself personally. And they also have contracts with the city. And they also represent Nick Spano's Empire Strategic Lobbying firm. So who do you think really paid for Harris Beach? Who do you really think put up this gentleman, Augustine Morales, to challenge those petitions? And so was his job at DPW the reward that he got for doing so? Many people will say, yeah, that's exactly why he got his $88,000 a year job as an environmental specialist. Whatever that is. Anyone? What is an environmental specialist? Right? And so I'm going to show you here his, where did I put that at? City of Yonkers job there. You can see is the environmental, oh, no, not specialist. I'm sorry. Environmental maintenance worker. $88,969.82 a year. How many people are making $88,000 a year? Right? And what does an environmental maintenance worker actually do? We got Frank Morales making $118,000 as an environmental maintenance worker. Sean Moran, man, chief, 223. Nice. Right? So this guy was given a job. So many people who have applied to work for DPW have been passed over time and time again. Individuals telling me that they literally live across the street from DPW and they watch guys go in and out with the trucks and they've applied and they can't get the job. There's nothing wrong with their record, their work history. They just can't seem to catch a break. Well, that's probably because they're not helping out with campaigning. They're not helping them win elections. That's how you get a job, folks. If you want a job with the city, you must help out in an election. Not just any election. They must be tied to the administration or Zehi Jeris. Recently, Mike Spano had several elections where individuals were invited to if they wanted a job. They were told, bring checks, bring a check for yourself, bring a check from your girlfriend, bring a check from your mother, father, sister, and brother. The more checks you bring, the better your references, quote unquote, will be. And that is not okay. That's corruption. And in fact, LOHUD, and I don't know what happened to this, but they were actually looking into and doing an investigation into a story about the administration utilizing its workforce, the city workforce, during campaigns, utilizing city employees in order to win elections. And somebody must have got wind of that because I don't know where that went. Individual disappeared, no longer was in contact with Freddie Vasquez. Can't be scared. We have to put the information out. The more we do it, the more people step up, the more people that tell their stories, the more it will make a difference. So we have to step up, folks. Otherwise, it's going to change, and you're never going to get a job unless you're going to go out there and start knocking on doors or writing checks. Right? And so this individual, what he did here on behalf of John Rubbo and the administration, Zehi Jeris, was cause Carlos Burgo's campaign more money and time. But they still almost won. He almost won. John Rubbo almost lost still because people are tired of it. Employee morale here in the city is low. People are tired. They've had enough. And don't be surprised now that I said that the administration are probably going to throw this grand old party for its employees. All right. Free alcohol, free food at the Castle Royale, I'm sure. Right? John Rubbo is no stranger to what do we say, controversy. I want to show you a text message that I received from someone, anonymous person. This is the individual that alerted me to John Rubbo's company, A Perfect Solution. I left the phone number there because I'm not identifying anyone, as that number leads back to Hartford Health, right? And they have no idea what the hell's going on in the city of Yonkers in regards to politics. So I doubt that they were the ones that texted me. Anyway, the individual says John Rubbo will be the next mayor of Yonkers. He is backed by Nick Spano, Henry D. Jumbalage, Justin Tubiolo, Mike Breen, Andrea Stewart Cousins, and James Nolan. Change the subject. You cannot change the inevitable. And this individual obviously was watching the podcast, right? And I received several texts from this person before they eventually would disappear and no longer text me. But before they disappeared, they put me onto a very, I think important piece of information that many people did not know. And that is a company that John Rubbo has called The Perfect Solution, John Rubbo, Inc. And so I said, what is that? What company is John Rubbo, or Perfect Solution, John Rubbo, Inc.? And I find out that it's a credit card processing company. And I said, really? What does this credit card processing company do? I asked the mysterious texter. And they said it's a way to bypass campaign finance laws. And what are campaign finance laws? Well, candidates are limited to a certain amount of money, that they can receive in contribution from any given individual or company. But they can find ways around that, right? They'll create different companies, and then they'll also contribute as an individual, like AMS has done for John Rubbo. AMS, his landlord, over at the Trolley Barn, where he has his Yonkers Brewing Company. And you can see here, AMS Group LLC, $2,000. And maybe in a week later, not even, they donated another $2,000 under AMS One LLC. So it's AMS Group LLC, $2,000, and AMS One LLC, another $2,000. The limit is, I believe, $2,000. So in a sense, AMS contributed to John Rubbo $4,000 in 2021. And they've also contributed under their individual names. Michael Mitnick, one of the principals of AMS, and Avi, I forget his last name, he's another one. And so they've donated that way as well. But if he has a company that no one knows about, specifically a credit card processing company, well, that's another way you can receive money, right? And no one know about it. What does a credit card processing company do? They process payments. So is he processing payments that no one knows about? And these payments are actual, illegal contributions. And is that why he sits as the head of the chair of the real estate committee and, does what AMS wants? AMS gets what they want, right? They wanted that area where the firehouse was on School Street, and they got it. They had the city send in the building department to close it down. Same way they did to the sharing community when they wanted the homeless people out. Same way they do to small businesses when they want them out, or owners of properties when they want their properties. They send in the building department and the fire marshals. And so that's what they did. And they shut down the fire station. Then they built it over there where it's at now. And then I heard that they were looking to knock it down again because AMS wanted that. AMS bought Chicken Island. They're doing the big projects there. AMS wanted the housing ordinance dead. And that is why John Rubbo never fully supported it to begin with, right? So going back to the Augustine Morales thing, let me show this guy, handsome guy. Augustine Morales, the husband now, I believe, right, of the gentleman that owns Saints and Scholars. And you can see a picture of John Rubbo doing a grand opening ceremony at Saints and Scholars with the big scissors and all that stuff, thing that I never got. Just kidding, right? Saints and Scholars. So this is the husband, I believe, of, from what I'm being told, of the gentleman who owns Saints and Scholars. Harris Beach. Attorneys for petitioner. This is when Augustine Morales, hired them to challenge Abdul Duma, one of the individuals who wanted to be the next representative for District 4. They actually were successful with him. However, Carlos Burgos, they were not. And so he went through with the primary where he would lose by not much. Right? Not much. And then what they also did, which was not cool, was they clogged up the working family party line, right? Using Henry D. John Balage's sister. Henry is a good friend of John Rubbo's, a very good friend. And so they didn't want I should say not Augustine, but Carlos or Abdul to get that line in the event that they were not able to get on the Democratic ticket, and then they could use the working family ticket to run in the general election. So they do all these little tactics to keep people from challenging them. I mean, they put every obstacle in front of people. And now you have to understand, many people are not coming in with the resources that they already have. And that's the big issue also with the fourth term in Mike Spano, right? They say, well, you can vote for anyone you want. But Mike Spano has 12 years of establishing relationships, buying people off, setting up people in positions like in the council and the heads of different departments that will assure that he maintains his power. The money that he's built up, the war chest, will make it almost impossible for anyone to beat Mike Spano. And so that's a fact, or facts that they leave out because they solely want you to believe what they are telling you, right? The BS that they're telling you. But this is what they do. And this makes it difficult, right? And so they say, oh, you need all this money. Yeah, you need money to hire attorneys when they challenge your petitions. You need money for palm cards and flyers and, to hire people to knock on doors because you don't have the city of Yonkers employees to go do that for you, right? You don't have the city of Yonkers employees or people who want to get a job with the city coming to your fundraisers and writing you a $500 check because they want a job, right? So Andrew Solner. Who's Andrew Solner? Forensic Document Examinations is a board-certified forensic document examiner whose expert testimony has been favorably cited in numerous federal and state court decisions. Well, he was the guy that was hired by the John Rubbo campaign to get Carlos and Abdul off the ballot. He went over the signatures, right, and tried to say they were no bueno. And how do we know that John Rubbo's campaign hired him? Well, because it shows it in the expenditures. They paid this guy $10,000 to do that. $10,000. Campaign to elect John Rubbo. So I would imagine he paid also for Harris Beach. Michael Curdy, Harris Beach. You may see his name a lot in many documents associated with the city of Yonkers. Is that not quid quo pro? Is there no quid quo pro happening here, Liam McLaughlin, the Inspector General of the city of Yonkers, the Republican Inspector General? By the way, how do you feel about the fact that the Democrats, specifically your buddies, are tearing up or have completely destroyed the Republican Party here in the city of Yonkers? And they're on their way to destroying that of the Democratic Party as well. All right. 3 factions within the Yonkers Democratic Committee cannot take out the 2 factions. One of them cannot take out the other 2, the Zahi, Jarris, and Spano factions who control a lot of wards, right? So a perfect solution here, again, hey, Liam, look into that. Certificate of incorporation. By the way, John Rubbo, I blocked out the address, right? Because he said, oh, they put my address. A lot of this is public information. If you type it up, your address is going to come up anyway. But I blocked it out anyway, just for you. Just for you. Who's Nick DeSantis? Contributed $1,000 to John Rubbo. Harris Beach has contributed over $4 million. Over $4 million to different campaigns and, candidates, elected officials. And that's how these individuals secure contracts. That's how they generate business. Right? And the handwriting expert, Andrew Solner, he's no different than the psychologist that they send people to over there in Hartsdale, IMA, right? He gets his contracts with people like John Rubbo, and they use him whenever they need to challenge people's signatures. So, $10,000, that's a good fee. And I'm sure it's not a lot of time that he spends on there. And a perfect solution, although John Rubbo wasn't really speaking much of this company or claiming it at all, he did apply for a PPP loan. Based on their reported 1 jobs retained, this equals an estimated average yearly compensation of $89,760 per person. That's how much he got, right? Total, anyway. That's a perfect solution. John Rubbo Inc. What is that company about? Anybody know? Anyone? Right. So I wanted to show you the corruption, more of the corruption. When I found out that this guy was now working for the city of Yonkers, making $88,000 a year, it all made now sense. It all connected, right? So he challenges these signatures for John Rubbo, and for that he receives a job, because not many people are looking for massages these days. Not sure if he was doing well as a freelance masseuse. And John Rubbo, he's not paying well or paying at all, right? His employees are suing him. So Augustine is like, hey, you're not paying me here. I'm not going to make any money at the Yonkers Brewing Company. So I need a job with the city. Oh, you want a job with the city? Well, this is what you need to do. You need to go and challenge these guys' petitions. Don't worry. We'll take care of the lawyer fees. We'll get the handwriting expert, and then we'll give you a job at DPW. Right? Back in 2021, he actually got the job at the end of 2021. He was making $30,000 a year. So it was like an entry thing. That's how they start people off. And then now he's up to $88,000. So he got a $50,000 pay increase in less than 2 years. How many people get increases, pay raises, $50-some thousand dollars, $55,000, $58,000? How many? There's more information on the perfect solution, John Rubbo Consulting. And now that text message told me again, said AMS is one of their clients. So he processes these payments, right? They go to some offshore account before returning back to the States into a bank account that he's created. And why did he call it a perfect solution? Is it because he may have thought it was a perfect way to bypass campaign finance laws? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. A perfect solution. John Rubbo Consulting, Inc. is located in Yonkers, United States, as part of the management, scientific, and technical consulting service industries. Why don't you give it a call, 914-965-7216, if you're looking for a credit card processing company. The revenue, $63,969. Incorporated in 2010. Key principal, John Rubbo. This is in 2021. So is that $63,000 of unreported campaign money? In order to vote a certain way for AMS and other developers like Ginsburg? $1,000 to the campaign to elect John Rubbo, 9/15/21. Another $1,000 on June 8th, 2021. $500 in 2018. Started to like you more, right? Maybe you started to do more things for them as the chair and as a council person, getting all these zoning laws changed. Let's show Harris Beach here and the people that they've contributed to. So it's all about, pay to play here in the city of Yonkers. Pay to play. Nothing moves but the money. And so that's how these individuals can remain in power. And that's why they say you need a lot of money. You have to pay people off. That's big, right? And I wanted to show that. So when someone told me today that, not today, but yesterday, that Augustine Morales was working for the city making $88,000 a year, I said, what? I said, I got to talk about this, right? And again, I got to remind folks about this corruption stuff and what happened back in 2021 and those elections as we come upon these elections this year, 2023, right? District 1, 3, 5, and the mayor seat, which is the big election, a very important election. I'm not saying the other ones aren't. They're all important elections, but everyone's talking about specifically the mayor and who is going to run beside Margaret Coleman, Reverend Margaret Coleman. We know that she's announced. But I've been talking to people lately, and I don't know, man. I don't know, the vibe that you guys are giving me is not really that good. Some people are not feeling confident because, they're saying they're not sure if anyone so far can beat Mike Spano, right? And some people, actually, I've had two people tell me, actually a few more than that maybe a Latina woman, right? A Latina woman. But isn't that identity politics? Isn't that identity politics, right? Why is it that we need a Latina woman? Not that I'm against that, because I'm Hispanic and I would like to see, sure. But we have an opportunity here, right? As someone said, this opportunity may not come around for another maybe 10 years or whatever, but we have an opportunity here to create change. And how do we want to take that shot, right? We have to make sure that when we take our shot, that we do it right. And this is what I've been saying from the very beginning. If people start to come into this, everybody wants to run, everyone has their own candidate, all that's going to do is split the vote. Split the vote. And that's going to give an advantage to the incumbent, Mayor Mike Spano. And that's what they're hoping. And so far, you have Reverend Margaret Coleman. And I know that Corazon Pineda, although she has not announced, should be announcing. I mean, from what I'm hearing from everybody, she's definitely running. And so now you're going to have, two Democratic women of color, one Hispanic, one Black, and then Mayor Spano so far in the primary. And so what that's going to do is you're going to have people that like Corazon, you're going to have people that like Reverend Margaret Coleman, and they're going to put their votes to them, to those two women, respectively. And then you're going to have the Spano supporters, right? But Reverend Margaret Coleman and Corazon are not going to get enough of the votes because they've been split. Because had Margaret Coleman not been there, maybe those votes would have gone to Corazon. Had Corazon not been there, maybe those votes would have went to Margaret Coleman. You understand what I'm saying? And then that would have given them the enough votes to beat Mike Spano in the primary. Or will it matter, right? Even if it was just one or the other, will they still get enough vote to beat Mike Spano in the primary? This is what I was saying, that we have to really think about who we want to support. At the very least, the majority of us, right, want change. We know we want, Mike Spano, nothing personal for a lot of people. It's just we want change. We want some fresh ideas, a new person with different perspective, someone strong that could really lead the city and help improve it for the majority of the people, not just for a few individuals, a lot of people coming in for the city. We want someone that's going to think about actually how things are being built, what impacts it is having on our community, and also someone that's going to address the issues that we already have that have not been addressed, that are only getting worse. And we know that election, is here. Election season's here, so they're doing certain things really quick to try to make it look good, patching up the roads. Have you noticed? They're going around patching up roads. They're not worried about if it's the state road or if it's a county road. They're just patching them up. Right? They're doing a bunch of little, ceremonies and grand openings and, honoring people and promoting people now. But that's just because the elections are coming up. So don't be fooled by that, because at the end of the day, I know that most of you want change. Many people within the city of Yonkers, employees, they want change. They're tired of it. Morale is low. And if we are going to achieve that change, then we must be smart about the way we go about it. We must all unite. Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. Those who want change, as you saw in that text, they said John Rubbo is going to be the next mayor because he's supported by a bunch of establishment people, right? Political elites who are Republican and Democrat. Those are the Republicrats, right? It's the Republicrat versus the people. And so we cannot worry about party. We cannot play identity politics and say, hey, we want to vote for a person because it's a woman. It's a Latina woman, or it's a Black woman. Look what that has gotten us before. We played identity politics in the last elections. And now we are dealing with a fourth term extension because of it. So we cannot play identity politics. We cannot vote for the person that we like because we personally like them, right? It's no disrespect. It's okay. You can still like them. But we have to vote for someone that is going to get it done, that we can feel confident, that will go out there, be strong, understands the issue, has a proven track record of success, right? That can lead people to this change that we are seeking, that is passionate about doing this, not someone looking to come in and, make money, right? Get a title, take over what the Spanos is doing for themselves, because they want to be mayor or they want to, reach some milestones. This is very important. People are fed up. There's a lot of reasons for a lot of people to be fed up, regardless of what side of town you live on. And so we also need someone that's going to be able to pull all kinds of votes, from the west side, the east side, north side, south side, black, white, Hispanic, Democrats and Republicans for the general election, right? But someone also that can bring out a lot of people in the primaries, bring out Democrats that have not been coming out to vote because the primary showings are very low. And many times the primary is where the election is decided. So you have 100 and some people deciding for an entire district. Or you have, very few people deciding for an entire city. Basically, because if Mike Spano moves forward, who do Republicans have? Or who else will put up a candidate? The working family? I know they're looking for someone. I don't know if they found that person. I don't know if they're going to give that, their put Corazon on their ticket. I don't know who it is yet, but who? Who will then go? He has that momentum now, right? In a city that's majority Democrats, Mike Spano will be the Democrat. And so we have to get behind somebody and stand behind that person, one person. Even if there's a bunch of people in the mix, we have to identify the one person that can truly get it done, that people can feel comfortable and confident in. Because people are scared. And so if people are going to come out to speak out about change and they're going to support someone that's changed, they want to be assured that that person is going to win. Because if they don't, then Mike Spano, they might come back at them, right? Retaliate. Oh, you were supporting that person. We saw you there, right? So people really thinking that way. So they want to feel comfortable and confident the person that's going to go against Spano can win. And so we have to identify who that person is. And there's still some time. There's still some time. So don't make your decisions just yet. This is important, Yonkers. This is very important. I've heard some names possibly running that I said, this is too serious for that. At least I think so. I don't know. So many names I heard, I don't know. This is, so we have to really think about what we're doing here. We have to talk about it with people, spread the word, let people know they have to come out and vote. I was at a tennis association meeting on Riverdale Avenue yesterday at 50 Riverdale Avenue. I saw Shatika Parker there. I saw Deanna Robinson there. Both are running for District 1. Christopher Johnson was also there. He's running for re-election against Shanae Williams. Shanae was not there. And was Deanna there representing Shanae, or was she representing herself as a candidate now? So just to let the people who were at that housing or tenant association meeting know that Shanae Williams was not there. Think about that, right? I was there. I do basement politics. I was there because I care. Actually, I was invited there by some of the tenants. They invited me. They stopped me in the street and they said, you have to come. And I gave them my number. And then they sent me a text showing me the flyer and stuff. So I went because they had concerns about their rent. Right? They're telling them, the manager company saying they own $20,000 or $30,000. And it's all a bunch of mistakes. And they're saying, oh, we made a mistake on the accounting. There were errors done. I mean, they're going back. And people have already moved out because they couldn't fight it. some people fought it and they realized that there was accounting errors. And they say, oh, sorry. What kind of accounting errors are those? And it's not just 1, 2 people. And it's not just anybody. It's a lot of the elderly people that have been living in this building for a very long time who don't pay the market rate that someone would if they were to rent that apartment today. So they want them out. They want them out. They're paying half at times of what they can be getting now for that apartment. And so it's not a mistake. It's not an accounting error. And so this is why it's important that people come out to vote, and we vote for the right person. Support, stand behind the right individual, become vocal. We have to end this corruption. These individuals are doing whatever they want, and then they look at you like you can't do nothing about it. And I don't know about you, but that bothers me. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you for joining me this morning. If you haven't, if you're watching later on, thank you for watching. And, to the people that was at that tenant association meeting, some of the complaints you had, granted, you do report that or give those complaints to management, but there's only so much they can do, right? Some of that or a lot of that is on our elected officials. If management complains about loitering in front of the building and, they're still there, management's not going to go out there and tell these people to move because they don't want to get into a problem with them, right? And it's happened in the building with the security guard. One of the security guards in these buildings was beat the hell up out here badly, taken out in a stretcher because he told someone that they didn't live there and had to leave. So they're not going to go and tell the people loitering in front of these buildings to move. That's up to the police at that point, especially if it's gotten violent before. So who are the ones in control of the police? Your elected officials, the ones that represent you, are supposed to represent you. So you have to vote for people that are going to say, hey, we're getting calls from this, apartment complex or apartment buildings about loitering. They're calling and calling. We need to make sure that we're sending patrols there to move people out the way, just like you need to move them out the way from in front of the businesses in Getty Square. It's not fair to those businesses that people just loiter, smoke drugs, are drunk, and just stand around in front of their businesses, causing them to lose business. So it's up to the elected officials. So to every one of those tenant association meetings, I know there were some district leaders there. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. It was a pleasure to meet you. A lot of you already knew from the neighborhood. So make sure you follow the page, share the page. We need to create change. We have to make sure we vote for the right person. Let's be smart. We have one shot. Let's take this shot right. We have to do it right. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Up out of here. I got to get to my office. Thank you, folks. I love you guys. As always, I'm here for you.
Freddie wins.
I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Unfiltered. Again, it's not about any one individual specifically. I'm not taking any shots. Don't take it that way at all. This is about making change. I want to make sure that we are successful this election cycle. And the only way we can do that is we use our heads. Be smart. Think about what we're about to do here. Who are we going to vote for? Come on and support. Be vocal. Share the information with other people. Let people know they have to come out and vote. Otherwise, you may not be here in Yonkers anymore. Hey, I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I know it goes over your head. Excuse me, but gotta send messages out the way I send them out. Peace out.
Freddie wins.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.